Welcome back. And in the last video, we talked about menus and we showed how to write a menu using if-else-if type statements. But in C++, there's a better way of doing this, at least with menus. Rather than doing a whole bunch of nested ifs, as long as you're dealing with integral values, characters, numbers, or even Boolean, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense in a menu set, we can actually replace this if set of ways of doing things with this concept called a switch. Now a switch basically says the same thing that an if-else does. It's take the value that's here and then compare it to the case that you put here. And then of course we have a whole bunch of cases to do with. So that takes care of case 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what we're missing now is, of course, what we had at the very bottom of our if, this dangling else down here. We need to have that dangling else. And in a case, we don't have a case that says, give me everything. C++ is limited. These have to be singular values. But we do have this thing called a default case, which is, if this does not match to any of these, come here. So our default case would be exactly what we put way here at the bottom. So let's just play copy pasta to make life a little bit easier, even though my code here is a little wrong. There we go. We will copy it, and here's our default. Boop. So now we need to handle choice 1. So if the choice is 1, does this equal this? We come down here and we grab this guy. So here's our addition choice. And then we'll grab our subtraction choice, just to show you, this saves typing time. Then we'll grab our multiplication choice. And then we'll grab our monstrous division choice, which solved all the problems that we had from last time. Because we still need those in how we handle it. So we've grabbed everybody. Now I'm going to go ahead and comment out the if statements. And let's see how this goes. So down here in the bottom, you can see there's our menu that popped up, calculate, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. And we're going to pick addition just to see what happens. It says enter two numbers, 12 and 13. So I expect 25 to be the result, and I get 12 and 13. But wait, I have entered two numbers again. I just did this. Wait, that's a subtraction. What the? There's the multiplication. There's the division. And there's the else. What's going on here? Well, cases and switch cases have an interesting conundrum in C++. When we say, do this, match that, and it matches, if it doesn't match that, it goes to the next one and matches that, it skips all this stuff. However, you'll notice that the code is stacked on top of each other. These cases get kind of abstracted out into what they call labels. So what's happening is, when I pick choice 1, I got choice 1 to run, but the code, once it matched to 1, it just started executing all the way to the bottom of the switch. How can I stop this? Oh my heavens, what shall I do? Well, in the case of code, there's a command called break, which means stop the execution of code and leave the nested block that you're in, go back to whatever you need to be doing. The break in the case of a switch case says execute switch case 1, drop down to here and stop, and then exit the switch, come all the way down. So if I put breaks between all of the cases, you'll see that this default behavior, which is called fall through, will stop happening. Now note, on the default, I don't need to worry about a break because it's going to execute that code and then end the switch and fall out anyway. So this solves that problem of having everybody run and fall down and run everything. And there we go. So you can see that breaks are needed to make this work right. Now, I wrote this with an integer choice to be able to calculate the pieces of the puzzle that are here. We could rewrite this, we can change this, and also use it to do comparisons on characters. Watch. We'll even simplify our menu a little bit. And I'm going to put parentheses around the letter that I want you to choose. And I like to remind people what the choices are. Hopefully with commas. And instead of it being a choice, we're going to turn it into a character and give it a blank space. So this choice will be an A, an S, an M, a D. And then we need to update our cases to be able to match to that choice. An A, an S, an M, a D. Oops. And then our else, please enter only A, comma, S, comma, D, M, comma, D. And now when I run this, there's my menu. It looks a little bit different. This is a perfectly valid way of doing it. And I enter A, I put in my two numbers, and I get my addition. However, there's a bug. If I run this code again, and I say enter a choice A, what your users might do is put a lowercase a in. And now it's going to fail because we mapped all of our choices, all of our tests are mapped to uppercase selections here, uppercase cases. I can solve this by doing this. So I can come here and add a separate case and use what we just saw, that default fall through behavior, so that now, without doing all the rest of them, if I enter a lowercase a, I get my addition. Ta-da! That is one way of solving this problem, by allowing us to actually use the default as a way of making this. There's also another way. With characters, we have two options. One is to upper and one is to lower. So I can use the to upper and to lower commands to drive my character choices either up or down. And let's pretend like I want everything to be in uppercase. I can say to upper choice, I don't need this anymore. And when I run this, if I enter a lowercase a, it gives me my addition. So I can use, without having to add extra cases and allowing fall through, I can use this command, which is a character shifting command, to shift a lowercase letter, if it's a lowercase letter, to an uppercase. If it's uppercase, it doesn't do anything. It has no effect. And with that, you see a better way of running menus, at least for most people, to run a menu of choices. You can run it through letters, you can run it through numbers, either one works. And that is the end of menus. I hope you're having a wonderful day.